Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to my studio. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to make the beautiful Serena Crochet floppy sun hat. This one uses a stitch pattern of offset shells, and so in the three-part video series, we're going to start with working the crown. Then we're going to switch to the offset shell stitch pattern and work the walls of the hat. Then do a concentrated row of increases and work a slightly modified stitch pattern for the brim in the second video. And then in the third and final video, I'll show you how to add wire to the brim of the hat to give you this beautiful structure. There is a pattern you can follow along. The link to the pattern is in the video description. And this project uses Be So Fresh yarn, which is my sport weight 100% linen yarn. You can find information on the yarn, the hook size, and everything else you'll need to make this project at the link to the pattern page. You can also order the pattern as an instant download or as a printed pattern to have mailed to your home. Let's get started. Okay, so we've worked through round 33, and now we want to make this edge straight for adding our wire. And how we're going to do that is by slip stitching across to our next single crochet and then working a variety of heights of stitches to even out this scalloped edge. So the next stitch we'd work in is the center treble stitch on the shell of the previous round. So we're going to slip stitch in that stitch and then slip stitch in each treble stitch across until we get to the next single crochet. So now we're at the single crochet. We're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, work a half double crochet in the next stitch, whoops, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. That's the half double crochet, and then we're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, half double crochet in the next stitch, and double crochet in the next stitch, which is back to the single crochet. So our repeat is going to be across the 7 treble crochets of the shell. We're going to work half double crochet, 5 singles, 1 half double, and then work a double crochet in the single crochet. So I'll show you one more repeat. Half double in the first, single crochet into each of the next 5, half double crochet in the next, and double crochet in the next single crochet. And you'll see we're smoothing out that scalloped edge and making it straight, which will be easier for adding our wire in the next round. So you want to repeat this all the way around. We are now perfectly prepared to add our wire in the final round. Now, if you've ever crocheted around your tails before, you know exactly what you need to do to crochet wire around the brim of a hat. It looks a little bit daunting, but trust me, if you've crocheted around tails before, you can absolutely do this. So you notice that this was wound up. When you buy millinery wire, it's going to come coiled like that, and the beauty of millinery wire is that no matter how often it's bent or how it's bent, it can always be reshaped because it does not kink. So you're going to want to smooth it out, and we can do this as we go once we have it attached to our hat as well. Now I have a piece that's longer than what I need it to be, so if I measure it around the edge of my hat, I want to make sure I have a few inches too many, and you'll see that this piece is actually significantly longer than I need it to be, but that's okay because you want to be able to adjust it when you're close to the end. You'll notice I already have my joiner on one side as well. A joiner is like a straw, let's say. Sometimes they come in metal form, sometimes they come in plastic form like this, but it's a little straw that goes over both ends of your wire, and I'll show you how to do this at the end, but you see you're going to join them in like that when you're ready to finish up your last round. So what I'm going to do to start is somewhere in the middle of my wire. I don't really want to work around the ends. We'll get to that when we get to that point. I'm going to line up the wire with my yarn and with the last round, and I'm going to single crochet in each stitch around, working into my stitch with the wire on top so that as I pull my yarn through the stitch and then finish my single crochet, I've now wrapped the wire inside my single crochet. It's not very difficult to do in the beginning of the round because, again, it's just like crocheting over your tails. As we work our way around, it will get a little more cumbersome, but I'll show you how I adjust for that when we get there. But basically all you're doing is crocheting around, single crochet in each stitch and working around the wire as you go for the entire round. When we get to the last, let's say 8 inches, we will start adjusting for the join. You notice I'm kind of going snug with it too. I want to make sure that I keep my stitches snug, and because I have to go a little loosey-goosey to get around the wire, once I finish my stitch, I kind of pull on it a little bit so that it stays nice and snug. I don't want a whole lot of gap between the stitch and the wire. As we're going along, you want to stretch your stitches across the wire so that we're not getting them too densely together, because you want this to be stretched pretty flat when we're done. So if you can do that as you go, so you want to press onto both sides of the yarn and stretch it so you can ease the wire along the stitches. This will make it easier to get your final easing done at the end of the round. I'm almost finished crocheting around the wire on the brim of this hat. And you'll see that I have stretched the crochet to ease it around so that our edge is completely flat. And now that I'm coming to the last few stitches, I want to make sure that I get these slightly overlapped by about 1 inch to 1.5 inches before joining it. If you don't have that length, you will want to cut it to get to about that length. And that's why I said start with a longer length than you think you need in the beginning. So now I'll add the joiner to the other side of my wire and finish up this round. So now you're going to be holding it a little bit more firmly. You're going to be holding the whole thing together with your yarn. And to go over the joiner is probably a little bulkier than the actual wire, and you want to continue to work snug over all of your stitches so that there isn't a whole lot of gap between the wire and your work. And if there's a little kink in here, like just the fact that I'm manipulating the wire right now means it's kinking a little bit. Once we finish our round, we'll be able to ease it through the crochet a little bit better again and be able to bend it as we need to bend or straighten out or whatever we need to do. The other beauty of putting this type of millinery wire in here is that when you want to shape the hat to create ruffles or different types of bends, you can do that as well, and it doesn't make it permanent. You will be able to pull it back out and shape it to be a straight edge as well. So now we're close to our end, and I'm just going to ease the stitches around again to try to get this flat. And it'll just take a little bit of stretching our stitches around. The fact that it was the right size to begin with meant that I'm confident that by easing them around I'll get it to work. Okay, so I've eased my stitches around again, and you see we've got a much flatter join again. As you're crocheting, you're bunching the stitches up, so you're having to overcompensate for just the act of crocheting around it as you go. Seems weird, but you get the hang of it, and it's totally worth it in the end to have this gorgeous hat. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. We're going to slip stitch to join just like on any round of crochet. Fasten off our yarn, weave in our loose ends, and then you just want to manipulate the body of work so that you get all those stitches smooth all the way around once again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to watch all the other videos in this series to learn all of my tips and tricks for making a beautiful Serena Crochet hat. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.